Interview season has started. You have about 1 million different hot topics to learn, loads of different ethical scenarios, and it's just so overwhelming. And you're worried about how your interview might go down. You walk into the interview room and your mind just goes blank and you don't even know what to say. You've forgotten everything. If you're worried about interview season, this is the video for you. In this video, I'm going to be going over why do medical schools even need to do interviews, the different skills that are important, and the steps that you should be following for complete interview success. Hi, I'm Loveleen, a medical student at King's College London, here to help you with your interviews. Now, I completely understand how daunting and difficult interviews were, as I was in your position. But fast forward a couple of months, I went on to achieve all 4 of my offers with interview scores as high as 135 out of 140. And I'm here to help you do the same and achieve your dream of studying medicine. On my channel, I talk about all things relating to medicine, entrepreneurship, and mindset. Now, to help you, I've also created loads of different resources. First up is my Aspiring Medics newsletter for completely free resources. On this, I post loads of different tips relating to the journey of getting into medicine, especially around during UCAT season and interview season, and what you can be doing to help you achieve your dream of studying medicine. Additionally, one of the key reasons that I was actually able to get all 4 of my offers was my interview document. This is an over 50-page document in which I've included all of the content that you need to know, ethical pillars, over 100 different types of questions, and also the NHS hot topics and research. If you're interested in this, make sure to check it out using the link below. Additionally, if you want more personalized support with helping you get your 4 out of 4 offers and studying medicine at your dream uni, then check out my interview course. Again, as part of this interview course, you get personalized, tailored learning given to you about all the content, learning how you should actually be structuring your interview responses, what your interviewers want from you when you're doing a med school interview, and the art of speaking and presentation, because this is so important in helping you secure your offers and get into medicine. Let's start off by taking a look at why do medical schools even need to interview you? Haven't you already proven yourself enough? You've gotten the predicted grades, you've written a personal statement, you've done all this different work experience that you've spoken and reflected about, you've done a UCAT admissions exam. What more could universities want from you? Now, the purpose of the interview is beyond just your academics. If you've sat the UCAT exam and you've gotten your predicted grades and written your personal statement, you've proven that you are already academic enough to be able to study medicine. However, being a good doctor and studying medicine is just more than your academics. It's important that you have a personality which is to help other people, that you're empathetic, you can show those caring qualities, that you have good teamwork and communication skills. That is what the interview is about. It's about seeing your intrapersonal skills beyond just your academics. You need to be showing why you have a good personality and you are a good person to be studying medicine, not just why you're smart enough, as if you've been called for interview, you have already proven that fact. So what I'm going to do now is actually go over the MSc Medical School Council's document for what core attributes and values that they are looking for when they're selecting medical school applicants. This video is going to talk about those different things that you need to be able to show within your interviews. First up is the idea of knowledge, skills, and performance. What this means is you have to show genuine commitment and interest and motivation to medicine. So in your interview questions, anytime you're asked about why medicine, what was the reason that you pursued it, any questions asking about motivation, what medical schools are looking for is a genuine commitment that you are showing towards the career, and not just for reasons such as because it's high paying or because I just chose it. It has to be something that is well reasoned and well thought out. They want to see your decision making process as to why you decided to commit to medicine, and the idea of lifelong learning. If you've chosen to study medicine, the idea of knowledge and developing your lifelong learning is something that's really important. So some of the key skills that you need to be showing is commitment, resilience, and a commitment to the career and lifelong learning and the idea of research. Some more key skills that professionals need is having a good work-life balance and being able to problem solve. A lot of the time, medicine can be demanding and you have a lot of commitments that you have to work with. You have to be able to manage your time well, have good organizational ability, and also problem solving, because a lot of your time as a student or as a doctor, you'll be faced with difficult situations that maybe you haven't seen before. So having that good problem solving skills and also that resilience, again, is really important to help you becoming a good medical student and doctor. The next really important idea to help you show that you're a good doctor or a good medical student is the idea of partnership. Now, you need to be able to have good communication skills and show that you're able to communicate ideas effectively, that you have good presenting skills, and that you're able to work within a team. A lot of the time as a doctor, you will be working with MDTs and a lot of other healthcare professionals. You have to know when is it a good time to take leadership, when is it time to let somebody else take over for leadership and follow their guidance and their roles. So it's really important to know that distinction, and the way you can show that again is through your experience. And finally, you have to be able to show the idea of honesty and trust. If you've ever been in a difficult situation before, how have you managed to cope with that? If you ever are faced in a difficult situation as a medical student, as a doctor, how will you cope with that and make sure you're helping everybody and all the parties that are involved in that situation? The ideas of professionalism, trust, honesty, integrity are key to the career of medicine. So I've just mentioned loads of different skills, like showing good motivation, having resilience, good teamwork, good leadership, being empathetic, being honest, having integrity, all of these different skills. But how do you actually show these in an interview? And there is one key thing that you need to be doing for every single interview question. This is the idea of reflection. And reflection is a really important skill that you have to be able to show in your interviews. Most interview questions are asking you about an experience that you've had, or they're asking you to expand and talk about yourself. What you need to be able to do is reflect. The way you reflect is by analyzing whatever that experience was and detailing it. So what happened in that experience? How did you feel? How did others in that situation feel? What did you learn from it? What would you do differently next time? These are 5 really important questions that every time you are talking about something and mentioning it in an interview, you need to reflect on it. Every single experience that you've done, it is in the least harsh way possible, slightly pointless to mention unless you have experience to show what you have learned from it. So anytime you mention something in an interview, if you're not able to talk about it in detail, your medical school interviewers may not care as much because you're not showing that you've actually learned from that experience. So reflection is one of the most important skills that you need to have to be able to show that you have all of these different skills as well. Because you may have done something relating in teamwork, for example. You then have to be able to reflect on that in your med school interview, talk about what you did, how you showed that teamwork, what did you learn from it, and how can this help you in the future. So remember, in order to show every single one of these skills, pick your experiences and then make sure you're reflecting on it so your med school interviews actually know how good you're doing in all of these different things. Now that you understand a little bit more about the psychology of interviewers and you can work out what they're looking for, how do you actually prepare for this so that when you walk into your interview room, your interviewers are just blown away by what you're saying, and because you are reflecting on your experiences properly? Now, there are 3 stages to having interview success. Step number 1 is the content. You need to actually know different things about medicine and the NHS in order to be able to answer questions. You need to build up that foundational knowledge. This includes things like knowing the NHS hot topics, knowing the ethical pillars, knowing different key principles like the GMC guidelines and confidentiality and the 3 Cs and Fraser guidelines and Gillett competence. Now, I understand that this content can seem overwhelming, but I have a video on every single one of these to help you actually learn the content for your interviews. Step number 2 is to learn structures for answering questions. Now, different types of interview questions, they require different things from you. For example, an ethics question, that will have a different structure in comparison to a skills-based question or a motivation question. In order to have good responses, you need to understand how you should be structuring your answers and how you can actually modify them to fit different questions. And finally, step number 3 for interview success. This is probably one of the most important steps in doing well for your interviews, but also, unfortunately, the most overlooked, and this is the art of speaking and presentation. Now, you could know all of the possible content that you need to know for your medicine interviews. You could know every single ethical pillar, you could know every single question structure, but if you don't know how to present that, if you panic in front of your interviewer, if you forget all your knowledge the second you walk in and you're not able to talk in an eloquent manner, then unfortunately that will jeopardize your interviews. It's really important to make sure that you are able to present in a way that is engaging, that your interviewer listens to you, and that you're also confident and calm in the way you're talking. This step is so important to actually solidify all of that work you've just put into steps 1 and 2. To help you solidify all 3 stages of the interview process, I have created my interview course, which you can access using the link in the comments. As part of that, we go over all of these different things. I go over every single part of the content that you need to know for interviews. I go over all of the question structures, and additionally I teach you the art of speaking and presentation so that you can hook your interviewer and get your medicine offer. Again, if you're interested, make sure to use the link in the comments. We've looked at the psychology of an interviewer and what do they want from you, and we've also taken a look at the steps for interview success. So now it's only right to take a look at the 3 different interview styles that you could possibly get in your medical schools. Now, different medical schools in the UK, they do have different ways of testing your ability in interviews. The first method is a traditional panel. This is often done by universities like Oxford and Cambridge. They are the most common universities to do this. Now, this is like a very traditional interview where you'll have a panel of a couple of people, anywhere from 2 to 3 interviewers. They will ask you questions and you answer. This could be anywhere, again, from 20 to 30 minutes long. The second type of interview style that you can get is something called multiple mini interviews. This is essentially like your traditional interview, but broken up into smaller stations. So you can end up having several different interviewers. You move between the stations and you have around 5 to 10 minutes. At each station, you are testing a different task or something else. And the final type of interview is group interviews. These again are quite rare and they're only done by a small handful of universities. But what these are testing is your teamwork and communication within a group setting. So there would be a couple of candidates, anywhere from 5 to 15 candidates sitting in a room, and together you'll be given a task to complete. You'll have maybe a question to answer or some problem solving task to do, and there will be a couple of interviewers assessing how all of you are working together and communicating. This introductory video covered essentially the basics of what you need to know to actually be able to start your interview preparation. Now, so that you can actually go on to achieve your 4 out of 4 medicine offers, make sure to check out the rest of my channel where we cover all things relating to ethics, relating to the content, the NHS principles, so that you can know all the content when you walk into your interviews.